Hi everyone, Amy here with Amy Swears, and I have a fun ink to paper and 3D embossing technique to share with you. So I have five beautiful colors from 𝗂𝗄𝗄𝗆, and I'm just going to do some very simple ink to paper to start, just utilizing the shape of these little ink pads. And here is a photo of the finished card to show you where we're headed, but this was super quick and easy. My ink pad was really juicy, as you can see, so I'm just going to kind of pounce it, starting off in sets of 3 all across the composition, and then I'll work through the other colors that I chose. I'm trying not to overlap ones that will be opposite on the color wheel because complementary colors tend to kind of muddy up and turn into a neutral. So I'm kind of just looking at where I'm going, just kind of filling in spaces, trying to overlap those colors that will get along. Now I'm going to come in with that in the park, or actually maybe I skipped that. I can't remember if I used that one or not. I may have just skipped that color altogether, but once I'm done, I'm going to use my cool decorative edge here. I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. This is a cool rectangle die set from Trinity Stamps. I'll link everything in the video description box below. If you expand and scroll down, you'll find my links. And that really is the best way to support your favorite crafters, is by using their links, because we get a small commission sometimes and it's no additional cost to you. So I use my pokey tool to kind of push out all the little parts that didn't come out in the die cutting. And then I have this Mandala Blooms 3D embossing folder from Spellbinders. So I'm going to run this panel, which was inked first, then die cut, then embossed, through my 3D embossing machine. If you're going to do die cutting and embossing, be sure to do the die cutting first, because otherwise if you run it through to cut it with a die after you've embossed it, then you'll squish it back down and lose some of that awesome dimension. So I absolutely love that 3D embossing folder. I'm just going to ink up the edges here just to kind of make it so it's not a white border, so it ties in with the design. And I'm going to use the same ink pads just to kind of work in a sequence of color around the edge of the card base. That is US A2 size, 4¼ inches by 5½. The other option is to do ink to paper, but since my ink pads are so juicy from being recently re-inked, I didn't want it to kind of seep through and get on the inside of the card. So that's why I opted to just do blending brushes instead of ink to paper like I would normally do. But I do have it kind of sandwiched in a little piece of scrap copy paper just to also further protect it so it doesn't get ink on the inside. So now there's no white border, it just has that nice colored border, and I'm going to finish it with a sentiment. So I'm going to flip through my binder here. This is my storage for all my die cut sentiments. Some are stamped and die cut, but this saves me a lot of time having this stuff ready to go. So sometimes I'll designate, a couple hours, or maybe while I'm watching a movie with my family, maybe I'll get out a bunch of dies, or if I get some new die sets, maybe I'll just, cut some extras and put them into this binder so that I have a lot of them ready to go, and it saves me loads of time. So I do have a video about that process also in my video description box. If you scroll down, you can take a look at how I kind of fill this up and how I have it separated onto different sheets and how that all works. But just flipping through, not really with a specific card in mind. Sometimes I just kind of flip through until I find one that works. Every once in a while, I'll also start with the sentiment and then I'll create the card based on the sentiment. So if I have one that's kind of a unique color or kind of a funky shape, then I might pick the sentiment first and then create the design around it. But typically, my sentiment is a bit of an afterthought. I usually kind of create the background first and then go from there. So this is 1-inch foam tape from scrapbook.com. It's only 1 millimeter thick, and I'm going to put a few strips on the back just to give it some dimension to help that panel really pop off the card. But it's not going to sit up too high, so it shouldn't cause any issues going through the post. So I'm going to remove the backer and then center this on the card base, and then you'll see that nice colorful border popping through on the edges. And then I have this Te Amo Mucho sentiment from not Scrapbook, that's actually from Simon Says Stamp. It's a stamp and die set that I got from there, and I'm going to use a thin foam strip just to pop that up, and I get those foam strips from Amazon. So if you're interested in anything, just scroll down below the video. I'll have everything linked. Otherwise, I'm just going to line this up. I'm going to have it centered on the composition about 1/3 of the way down. And then I'm going to finish it off with some bling. This is from a Colorful Life Designs. There's over 130 colors in the shop. Gorgeous flat back sequins. You get a nice generous portion in these little pouches. Just figuring out what colors I want to use. I think I actually used a couple in this case. I'm going to show you what ones I picked in a moment here. Hopefully I have opaque, iridescent, light turquoise, and crystal opaque sunflower. And both of those worked beautifully with the ink colors that I chose. So I'm going to put 3 on the top right and then 2 on the lower left, or maybe I do 3 and 3. I can't remember. But either way, I like to kind of frame the sentiment a lot of the times. If you overthink it, just kind of think of creating a visual eye path around your sentiment. That's kind of what I like to do most of the time. So that's going to finish the card. Super easy. I loved these colors and this embossing and the texture. I'm just going to finish it off on the back of the card with my custom stamp from 𝗄𝐿 Originals. I'll link her shop as well below. Be sure to let her know that Amy's Wear sent you if you do shop. And thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time.